Welcome to Monday Quality Talks number 35, family. Very good evening to you, very good afternoon, very good morning, very good day. Be very welcome. This is your weekly rendezvous here on YouTube, Boddhi Satva's channel. You already know. To all my Bodhis, salute. To all the Shadow Gang, salute. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, be very welcome. For those of you who have just subscribed to the channel, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who have donated recently, thank you very much for your beautiful donations. Keep on doing so. We are here on Mondays for Monday Quality Talks and on Fridays for Quarantine Grooves. For today's 35th episode of MQT, yes, I was going to mix it up with Quarantine Grooves. I have invited back on the show my good sister, the one and only Nicki Monty. Yes, indeed. Producer, DJ, healer. Man, she's such an amazing set of powers, right? She's a condensation of so many gifts that she truly honors the best of her capacities and abilities, and a mother, a leader, you know, well-rounded musician, the whole shebang. I've introduced her on my previous show with her a couple of months ago. I believe it was last year or probably earlier this year. I can't remember, but anyway, you should look it up. Today we're going to be talking on very various topics and making sure that we share. She shares with us some of her tips, yeah, I look forward to having this conversation with her. Without further ado, let me bring her to the floor and take you guys on this lovely conversation today. All right, let's do this. Nikki, what do you do?
Hello.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Well, thank you for tuning in with me, connecting the frequencies, and honoring me with your presence on the show today.
Anytime.
Um, I wanted to have you back because I feel like, the last conversation we had um, was pregnant with so much information, and there was so many things we could have touched on, and um, I think we touched on most of things, but um, I wanted us to just chop it up a little bit about um, foods, how to look after ourselves when it comes to the type of things that we can do to avoid disease, etc., etc., etc. Practices as far as awareness when it comes to yeah, the quality of our thoughts, the quality of what we put inside of us, and the quality of our frequentations is in a pandemic or maybe we could even say almost post pandemic. Well, quite not quite. I'm not sure anymore what to think, what to say. Um, so yeah, man, how you been feeling yourself? Before you answer the question, welcome to Mama Dalia. Welcome to those of you tuning in right now. Hello, indeed. Make sure you show some love at the comments and follow Sister Nikki, whose Instagram and all the links that you need to know about her are in the description section of the video. So please, sorry to cut you. I was asking, so what have you been? What have you been eating? Like, how have you been feeling yourself in these complicated times? And I know in the U.S. it's quite dire what's going on right now. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me again. I'm really excited to have this conversation. Can you
Hmm.
hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Okay. So, the main thing is I've been getting this information as I've been doing my medicine journeying, and I'll talk about that later
Hmm.
on.
Hmm.
But the true medicine is what we consume. So I always think to myself, even being as a mother, I am and we are what we consume. And consuming is through the eyes, through the ears, through the mouth, the nose, through what we eat and ingest,
Hmm.
and what we accept in our lives. So we consume people, places, circumstances, situations, um, food, clothing, all these things, propaganda,
Hmm.
of course, and everything outside of ourselves will affect us physically. So stress, diet, and all these different elements. So the one thing that I've done to make sure I maintain my sanity,
Mm-hmm.
because as a healer and somebody that works with sound to assist others in healing, because you can see some of my equipment in the background, because I was DJing and I was in the public and doing music, it was always intentional to create an experience for those to release and to heal. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the same thing I do here in sessions when I work with others and assist them on their journey here in this planet, on this planet, on this plane, whatever you want to call it. So the first thing I allow my clients to understand through communication is, what are you eating? What are you watching? What are you listening to? Is it feeding your soul?
Mm-hmm.
Is it feeding your blood, your organs, your bones, your body? You know, how are you feeling in your body? And
Mm-hmm.
that's a really big thing, because a lot of people don't, because things have changed out of what we deem as normal. It really wasn't normal to begin with. This whole society has been built to enslave us, to bring us into a state of consuming and putting our energy forth into something that's not really truthfully our purpose. So with me trying to make sure I stay in that space, I eat a lot of leafy green vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And that really assists with, how I communicate, how I think, how I eliminate, how I operate. And it keeps me in the thought of connecting with the earth, because these plants are growing out to the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and it's receiving energy from the sun, it's receiving energy from the soil, the micro and macronutrients, all of the things that the earth provides for us. It's coming from the plants. So
Mm-hmm.
looking at what we're eating is so important, because our bodies are reacting to our environment. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
putting something healthy or beneficial in your body, it's going to help you deal with your environment better. It deals with your mental, it deals with your spiritual, it deals with your energetic body, your blood,
Yes.
especially, and it supports your blood.
Mm-hmm.
So my preference for eating is leafy green vegetables such as kale, um, not necessarily spinach, because it's more acidic and you can feel that on your teeth. So anything that creates a grit on my teeth is very acidic, therefore it's not healthy for me. I love coniferous vegetables because it helps support and ground me, especially when I'm feeling
What,
off.
what, what do you call those?
Coniferous vegetables, so those that are crunchy, like
Ah,
broccoli.
coniferous. Yes. Okay.
Yes, cabbage. Sometimes it'll be a combination of both. And I don't cook my food to the maximum. I like to steam it. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily boil it. I want everything, and I drink the broth. And that
Okay.
really supports me to help keep me grounded so I can help others. So imagine if you did this for yourself to support yourself. So also, I've really cut back on eating meat. I'm not a red meat eater. I never really was a red meat eater. No pork, no beef.
Mm-hmm.
I had to cut out other things that I ate like 8, 10 years ago. Lamb, bison. I love meats. I've worked in the restaurant industry for years, so food
Yeah.
was my thing. And I decided to cut those out, because if the animal is not sustainably slaughtered or
Yeah.
sacrificed, then you're taking in the fear of the animal. You're taking in that experience of the animal. And we have to be mindful of that as well.
Let me ask you a question. Nikki. Is there a way you can maybe eventually plug? Because when I'm speaking, for
Mm.
some reason I can hear my echo on your side. Um, Let me see if there's any way we can fix. In the meantime, let me thank Master Electronic for the super sticker. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you, my king. I
Do you
appreciate
still
you
do you
indeed.
still hear the echo?
No, I want to. No, I'm not. Good.
Okay, I just turned off the speaker that was closest to
All right.
the
Okay.
microphone.
Okay.
Okay,
so,
good.
so, so when it comes to these kind of diets, which I know are complicated to adapt, I would say. And I know that not everybody is physiologically able to just go all the way vegan or,
Correct.
all these kind of like very strict kind of like dietary way of, looking after themselves and, just eating. Were you always into the veggies? or you became more, what sort of like got you to become more aware and really start, being mindful of the way you cook your vegetables or just your food in general?
Yeah, well, with having children and seeing that because here in the US, it's some of the environments here are extremely toxic. And what you even expose yourself to as a woman while your child is in your womb, they're picking up on this toxicity. So it made my last pregnancy made me a lot more mindful because of what I was eating. I was eating to support my child. So things that I was eating during my pregnancy is not things that I eat now. And I dabbled more into to aspects of seafood. I did eat beef at that time, and I don't have any regrets with that because each pregnancy I had taught me something different about my body. And with my last pregnancy, I gained a lot of healthy weight that supported my child. She was my largest child. And then breastfeeding her, it was such a beautiful experience. And I noticed that once I did what I needed to do for my pregnancy, then it was about eliminating and making sure that I had good milk to give her. So that's when I really became more mindful because my first two pregnancies, I was in a different space, a different state of mind, having different experiences. So this last pregnancy, I was able to process and really go into how I was eating. And this was almost 14 years ago. And so thankful for that opportunity because I noticed my daughter's actions and reactions to specific food like sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar, sugar is like extremely toxic. It is very addictive. And
Yes.
and I know that when it's around me and my children, there's a frustration and anger and an excitedness that comes about when we are around it, when we consume it. So I have to be mindful of that. I started transitioning out of sugars, like processed cane sugar, to coconut sugars or agaves or something that's more natural to the environment. And understanding that I don't trust or believe or care much of what the medical system has to say about me because it doesn't support me as an indigenous woman. So they're looking at it from a standpoint of assisting those that have privilege, those that look a certain way, and that have specific access, which most people that look like me don't. So I had to figure out if I don't want to have certain dis-ease in my body, I need to figure out how to utilize my environment and what I have access to heal me. So I
Mm-hmm.
started making concoctions and researching a lot of things because my daughter got very sick when she was young. Um, she had seborrheic dermatitis, which she was literally allergic to her own slobber. I was eating peanuts when I was breastfeeding her for a plant source of protein, not understanding how toxic peanuts are. So,
Wow.
and they're not nuts, they're a bean. And they've been genetically engineered for almost 60, 70 years. So I didn't know that. And when I learned about that, her rashes started to go away. How do I support her in the healing process? Because she's scratching her skin off because it's itching her. I learned about calendula or calendula, whatever anybody wants to call it, the flour, putting it in a salve, mixing it with her lotions, how oatmeal and goat's milk and things of that nature help with supporting the skin when you have these ailments that are going on.
Wow.
So I had to do a lot of research to support my children. And then as I'm getting older, I'm learning that these things are also starting to pop up on my body. It's not because of what I'm doing now, it's because of what I've been exposed to for so long in my life. So now I'm on a journey to support my body more, which is why I chose to really shift out of eating meat that bleeds to more, maybe once a month, twice a month, I'll eat a white fish, something that comes from more Arctic waters.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite fishes are cod because it grasps the flavors, and I like seasoning. I like my food to taste
I
well. I
feel
like to
you.
enjoy the experience.
To echo you, Sister Dean Pressivoke is tuned in as well, and she said, "Well spoken, Sister Nikki. Our indigenous healing alignment is fundamental to our strength and sovereignty."
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Welcome to those of you joining us now, watching the show. Make sure you don't forget to press the like button on the video. Make sure you also don't forget to show some love, just like Mr. Master Electronic via the super stickers, super chats, and so on and so forth. Now, welcome, Eliana. Welcome, welcome, family. Um, so, when it comes to meat that bleeds, um, there is also a segment of the population that believes that um, a full red meat diet is essential to um, having a healthy body. That doesn't mean that they exclude vegetables necessarily, but they're all about the red meat.
Oh well, I can't
But,
hate. I
and I
can't.
wouldn't say hate, but I mean, I would
Yeah.
say that as far as I'm concerned, so at a certain point, a couple of years ago, I stopped eating red meat for a whole year. I could not eat any red meat. I would just literally just reject it physically, like it was physical. And then on one of my trips to Portugal, actually, the meat is really good here. I tried, and I was like, okay, I think I can do that. And so I've been eating red meat, but not in the same way I would have many years ago. But I think on average, I'm probably going to eat red meat maybe three times a month or something like that.
Yes.
Most of the time it's going to be chicken, fish, vegetables with pastas and stuff like that. Or maybe I shouldn't have the pastas, but so I don't want to cut you, but I want to ask. So what about these, like, so these foods like pastas and so on and so forth? Are they really and what kind of pastas actually? Would you suggest one to have, because supposedly the ones that we find in the regular stores are just, at least, not, they're not good for your system. They don't have any added value when it comes to nutrients and stuff.
Right. So with the meat,
Hmm.
um, I respect people that eat meat,
Hmm.
especially when they understand where their meat comes from. When you're going to a farm or when you're going to a butcher or somebody that's actually caring for the animal or working with a a farm that actually has a way to care for the animals, to give them a quality of life, you can actually
Hmm.
taste that experience in the meat. So Portugal offers something different than what the US offers. Obviously, so
Seriously.
here, and just in my mind, I the animals that I love, I just can't see, I can't draw myself anymore at this state in my life to eat them. But that
Hmm.
doesn't mean I judge others that do, because some people actually need that to support their bodies for whatever and wherever they are in their experience. It takes a strong mind to convert out of that. Not to say that they're not strong, but to take those steps, you need a lot of support. And it's not cheap being vegan and eating the right things.
It's not
You
cheap.
have to you have to really sit down and prepare your food. And that's why I don't eat a lot of other things. I eat greens because I can throw it in my mouth. I eat sunflower seeds. I eat salads. And then when I'm hungry, then I will eat specific types of noodles because I love pasta. My daughters, we love Italian food. Like we're crazy for it. But we don't eat the dairy aspects of it anymore. So
Hmm. So
with
no
pasta,
mozzarella for you, no
oh
traditional mozzarella,
no, no mozzarella, no. I love,
mascarpone, none
yeah,
of these
none
good
of that.
things.
None of the wonderful cheeses. I love cheese. And I've tried vegan cheese and they have some really good flavors, but then again, it's just not, I don't want to, just like with tofurkey, they have this fake chicken and this fake beef and all. I can't do that because I'm playing myself if I don't give myself the real experience. If I really want chicken or something, then I'll eat it. If I'm
That's right.
craving it, then
Yeah.
there's something that's missing in my body. If I can't get it through sea moss or through specific herbs, or my diet or not my diet, my lifestyle that I live now, then I'm going to satisfy that because I know
Hmm.
that's something that I need for my body. And doing energy work, it becomes a different level of respect for your body because it's not that you're draining yourself, but it's so much energy that is
Hmm.
transferred through your body that you need to support and ground yourself. And vegetables support that, but sometimes you need something a little more hearty, which is why I
Hmm.
break and I get my fish or I get, something that's a little more dense. type of a meat for myself. When it comes to the meat that bleeds in regards to that aspect, it's just a respect for the animal because there's a lot of
Yeah,
trauma that goes into the blood.
absolutely.
So, if you're going to continue that lifestyle, really talk to the butchers, talk to the people, because when you see meat and you see that there's markings or things that have been cut out, because I worked in restaurants, I know that there's cancer, sometimes there's pus, there's things that are on meat and that are in meat based on that animal's experience. Then they died. They had that trauma in their life. They died traumatically, and that shock, that
Hmm.
environment goes into their system. You can also reference that for our experience here on this planet. We're
Hmm.
mammals, we're human, we have these experiences. Their trauma is traumatic to our bodies, and then we develop disease just like these animals do. So we
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
be
yeah.
mindful about,
So
the
we,
cycle. It's a really beautiful, deep, simple but complex cycle that we're living in. So it's just really respecting the whole process and honoring our bodies and what we're consuming from that aspect when we're eating. So if that answers that question.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, as far as fish are concerned, as fish is concerned, sorry.
Mhm.
Um, I've been hearing that, well, because of the seas being polluted, you might be thinking that you're eating healthy food or healthy seafood, but it's actually not. With all these plastics and all these different things that got broken down through the years and polluting the waters, the seas, etc. Um, the the quality of the fishes most of the time is not as excellent as we may think they are.
Yes.
That's also another thing. Like it's almost like everything has been poisoned.
Yeah, you can't win for losing. You can't. You damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And my great grandmother used to always say, you have to pick your battle.
100%.
So sourcing again, understanding where the fish is coming from. The reason why I like the cold water by Iceland and northern regions is because those waters are less polluted. So I have to make choices. If I'm going to eat this fish, this is the environment it grew up in. Just say, for example, Gulf fish, Gulf fish, Gulf shrimp. That oil is not clean out of that water. Those
Hmm.
animals
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
been impacted. They're exactly. She said, "We are what we eat." Exactly. Exactly. So if these waters are polluted, then our waters are polluted in our body. So we have to source and find what works best for our bodies. If I need fish, I'm going to research. I don't do salmon because I know they've genetically modified engineered salmon. Most of the salmon we used to eat growing up is not real salmon anymore. So it's so serious. It's so scary. And when you see what these fish look like now, especially salmon, king
Hmm.
salmon, and then what
Hmm.
they look like 30 years ago, it's completely different. And you can look it up online. There's research and sources and medical institutions that have done this research. It has literally damaged the environment for salmon, the salmon that they put out there. So it was my favorite fish. But then I realized after doing research, because I noticed that it started to taste different. And then
Hmm.
there were all these different varieties. And I said, okay, I know there's different varieties of salmon, but this looks so different. And then they promote it. These people promote it. King salmon is great for you. It's a nice fatty fish. It's healthy.
Yeah,
It's omega-3.
propaganda to make you buy because they need to,
Exactly. You buy it,
know.
you poison yourself, you're running to the hospital. What's wrong with me? Then you're in their institution and you're paying your way to health when really all they're doing is keeping you sick. So all of these institutions work together, all of them. So what you eat gets you sick. You go to the hospital, you're in the medical system, then you have the um the medicine that you need to take. And then it's a circle. You still don't know, they don't teach you about how to eat healthy. They keep you sick. You go into the hospital, they don't educate you about your diet. They put you on pills, and then it's this
Mhm.
cycle. That's
Yeah.
their cycle. Our cycle, as the sister said, is returning to the source. So if you can have your experience of fishing, if you can have your experience of slaughter, if you can have your experience of just getting a little pot and growing your own food and tasting the difference, you'll really understand, because there's no way I could return consistently to the store knowing what came out of my garden. And I have so much in my garden right now. Yeah, Monsanto is killing us. Absolutely.
I,
Absolutely.
I feel like Monsanto is the big boogeyman, but it's like it's almost like it's overshadowing maybe everything that's happening as well. Maybe from smaller companies. I think well, it's like Monsanto's is the Apple Music of fucked up chemistry and you know
Well,
and contaminating foods and shit.
yeah, but they're not the only ones. They're supported by other large industries. It's crazy. She just said it's all an interconnected web. It's so true. Because if Monsanto,
Absolutely.
how could Monsanto get so big by creating pesticides and then go into the food industry and then doing gene therapy or injecting animal DNA such as spiders and then changing the codes of the food that we eat, corn, soy, canola, beets,
Hold
papaya.
on. What's the connection between the spider and the food?
So some if I'm not mistaken, because I see it all the time, but then I it doesn't stick with me because I just know I don't eat corn like that. I don't eat yellow
Hmm.
corn. I eat
Hmm.
indigenous corn. So anything that has a patent to Monsanto, there's been gene therapy done. So some of these foods that we eat have animal DNA in it, so that when the animals eat the foods, it blows their stomach up along with chemicals and different genetic manipulation that they do. I can't say it verbatim. I have like this document that's these papers that my friend gave to me 15 years ago. It's like has to be like 3-4 inches thick of how is this industry has just from chemical to chemical food, how we're eating these chemicals now. Why do we have digestive problems? Why do we have these rashes coming up on our body? Why are so many of these things so prevalent? And I wouldn't even speak on your channel about certain things because I don't know if they would cut your channel. So
Okay, speak
there's
about it.
so huh?
Why would it cut my channel because you speaking?
Because some things here in the US right
Hmm.
now, there is a lot of censoring. They're censoring us
Oh yeah.
because we know, we're starting to know, just like I'm identifying with what I put in my body. Health is wealth. Health is
Hmm.
wealth physically and spiritually. So if your body's
Hmm.
clean, your mind is clean. If your mind is clean, then
Hmm.
you can operate in your true purpose. Our purpose,
Hmm.
again, is not to be enslaved by these systems. It is for us to be free on this planet, to live in
Hmm.
cohesiveness with it, in tandem with it, joining forces. And we're here to take care of this planet as it takes care of us. It is a great mother. It gives to us. We need to take care as well. If the waters are polluted, if the land is polluted, we can't live here anymore. And this is why it's such an important topic to speak about, because I have children. What kind of world are they going to live in? What do they really know what clean water tastes like? Because we have to buy bottled water. We can't drink from a creek without a life straw or a Berkey or some type of filter. The other day I went to the creek and there's chemical bubbles that are floating in the water. Like my children have never seen a clean creek.
What?
That bothers me. That bothers me. So and it creates in this whole world, because we all know what's going on, this depression and this stress. And that weakens your immune system too. So it is so imperative to eat right. It is so imperative. I can't stress that enough. Clean, healthy food.
Talk about this thing that you said might get my channel censored. I wanna try it out. You know, let's just spread your knowledge. At the end
Yeah.
of the day, you know, it is your truth. It's what you've researched and it's what you know.
Well,
So
when when I had my first child, it was a hospital birth. I had no idea I even had options. I depended on the doctors, and I wouldn't know how many melanated, copper, indigenous, aboriginal, whatever you want to call it, women. My experience was horrible. And I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I was given Pitocin. to induce the birth. They broke my water. The contractions were so
Was
heavy.
was there a reason? Was it because of the contraction that they had to break your water, or?
No, so you know how a lot of women are planning for C-sections? The doctors
Mhm,
say all these things so these women can come in and have C-sections.
mhm,
So the womb, let's talk about the womb section and these experiences that us as women are having. To support our womb, first is through diet, it's through lifestyle, it's through care, it's through partnership, it's the village. Everybody has their job, everybody assists in a certain way. I don't know everything, but what I do, I will support you with that. When you're carrying a baby, there's a lot of environmental factors that can cause a lot of trauma and produce a different experience for this child on this planet. So it is a very special time for a mother.
mhm,
I didn't have that education at that time. I didn't have a partner at that time that was educated as well. So we trusted our midwife, me not knowing she wasn't really a midwife, she was a medical wife. She was a medical midwife. So she trusted the science instead of me and my body. So whatever I said
mhm.
was a problem was take this pill, take that pill, do this, take this. Instead of how's your diet? How are you feeling today? How are your hips feeling? Do you feel the spread yet? Do you feel weight in your womb?
Mm.
She didn't ask me the right questions. I didn't know what to ask. I was very uneducated about that experience, as most of us are. And the rush to get a C-section, the rush to do serious surgery on us is over 35% of women here in the US. And I just had to speak with someone the other day and say, please talk to your daughter. You can have a vaginal birth after a cesarean. So there's so many possibilities, and the body is so amazing. They keep wanting to cut us open, to damage our wombs, to take our wombs, to take our ovaries, to sterilize us. It's so scary. And that
But
almost
hold on, but you can't sterilize somebody. I mean, like these are things. These are serious.
no,
Like these are serious moves. Like you've got
they
before you
do
take
it.
that procedure, you gotta be talking to the person. Like, look, there's a reason why.
Oh
You
no,
know.
not here. Not here. There's a history of forced or unknown sterilization in our community, and my grandmother was one of those people.
Okay.
So this is something that
I
is
thought that
well
was where I heard.
documented.
I heard that before. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know if this is the name of the book. It's called Medical Apartheid, and it
Okay.
speaks of the injustices that melanated people have had here in the US. And
Hmm.
I'm sure it speaks to all over this planet in regards to how we are treated by the medical industry. And there's so much information on YouTube. I would suggest researching that, because once you have an awareness of how this industry works, then you know that there are other steps that you can take. And that's when you can have real conversations about what works best for you in your body. Nobody's body is the same. It's not a one size fits all. If this is something that you can consume and it benefits your body, then so be it. And others, vice versa. Just do your research, check in with your community, go to your apothecaries or your herbalists or whoever you need to, and people are so willing and able to educate you and put you in the right space and push you towards the right resources that work and fit with you. Because that's how I had to start. But with my experience in the hospital, it changed my look and my narrative on the experiences I wanted to have in the future. So when it came to me and my womb health, because of the things and the damage that was done to me in the hospital, I said I never want to have this experience again. So at that point, I wanted to make sure for my next child, I did research. My next two births, I had water births. The child is in the water. The child needs to comfortably come out of the mother's womb into water, into a comfortable environment that simulates or that is natural to their own environment.
Yeah.
So my last two births were water births. One was in the hospital. Um, I'll answer that in a second. I saw it. um, with the experience that I had with my middle child, it
Hmm.
was so beautiful. It blew my mind how strong I was. And that's when all the lights started clicking, like, oh, and at that time, and I'm going to speak frank, at that time when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was homeless.
Mm.
So I had to make specific choices. And when I say homeless shelters, waking up at 6 in the morning to leave the shelter, coming back to make sure I had a bed, I was homeless. So with that experience, and I'm thankful for it, that really brought me to I have to be mindful of what I'm picking to eat throughout the day so
Mhm.
that it supports my pregnancy. She is my most healthy example of what a child should be. She she grew strong and fast. She communicated very early.
Mhm.
Um, the way that these children move when you give them that type of lifestyle and environment,
Mhm.
I mean, there's it's endless. It's endless. So, and then the choices that I made once I found a place to live and deal with myself in my trauma, I was
Mhm.
able to assist her in the journey. And I noticed that my trauma affected her. So, in the first few months while I was breastfeeding, there's a lot of crying, a lot of, things that were going on with her. And I had to be mindful of that. I didn't have anybody teach me that. It was something innate. So, when you become a mother, you just know. Or even as a
Mhm.
woman, you know. So we have this innate ability to heal others, heal ourselves, understand the environment, understand people, and work with people. And that's in for me, that's the goal, to assist my community through education, knowledge, information, through my experiences.
Mhm.
So in my third pregnancy, I was at a hospital in the state of Ohio. You can't give at the time, water births were illegal. So I
Illegal
had
or
to
legal?
illegal.
Okay.
Illegal. So I had to go to a hospital to give birth. And I went in the middle of nowhere. It was very country, brand new hospital.
Mhm.
When I say the middle of nowhere, I really went to the middle of nowhere. And I made sure that I knew who was assisting me with my birth. And this woman was a true midwife who said, fuck the system. I have 4 children. I gave birth to them at home, and I'm a midwife at a hospital. So when she understood my journey, she said, when you come to give birth, I don't care who's here, jump in the tub and don't get out. I know what it's like to have a water birth. I support you. She stood back while everybody was scared that didn't understand it. Yeah, it's a syphilis experiment, exactly. I jumped in the water, didn't get out, pulled my daughter out on my own. They wanted to take her.
Wow.
I said no. I laid her on my chest. They wanted to cut the cord. I said no. Blood is still flowing into my daughter. I need her to get all the nutrients, all of this, all of that.
Hmm.
They wanted to take her placenta. I took the placenta home. I didn't want them to keep any of her DNA.
So hold on now. Let's go step by step because this is a lot of information. So,
Yeah.
at what point did you start cutting the umbilical cord?
So it's important for the placenta to push and give the child all that it needs,
Uh-huh.
nutrient wise. That journey is not over. Some people actually allow the placenta to stay attached to the child until the cord falls off. And they put herbs and different spices on it to support that child and to not go bad. So the
Because I was gonna
experience,
say it's organic, so it might quickly go
yes,
bad.
yes,
Oh.
and they use it to nourish their trees or their garden. It's so amazing. Like I can't even speak to how amazing and what I've learned about my own body through that experience. But the hospitals want to take blood, they want to do PKU and prick the foot, and oh, we want to check her genetic
What is
information.
PKU?
It's a test that I don't know what it stands for, but it's when they prick the bottom of the baby's foot so they can take the blood to do tests. I don't know why they would want to do that. If you check the vitals on the child and you come back, or you sit in the hospital for 4 days here, 5 to 7 days if you've had a traumatic birth or a cesarean. Um, they kept me a day longer because they thought there was fluid in my daughter's lungs. And I said, how? They said, well, she was born in the water. I said, she came out of the water, right? Like just the lack of knowledge of what you're dealing with in a hospital, the common sense
Mm-hmm.
is gone. So it was a really interesting experience. And I took the placenta home and I buried it under a tree so it could support that tree. I didn't let them take any of her genetic material. I didn't let them touch her. I didn't let them touch me. It was just what the law required, and I didn't want anything any circumstances or situations to arise. So I just did what I felt was necessary. And then they wanted to keep giving me drugs for pain. I said, I'm fine. I'm fine. I don't need anything. I don't need your drugs. I want to
But
feel.
there's an argument, not to cut you, but there's an argument that says that yes, but that's cool. But then what if something goes wrong with the baby, and then you refuse all this help, and they
Well,
haven't been able to run all these tests? Then they're left with very little room for them to help you save your baby potentially.
well, what tests would they need to run? Because they do all the blood work on the mother
Yeah,
throughout the
true.
pregnancy. So
Hmm.
what would the baby develop? You can see it in an ultrasound. You can see
Mm.
these things. You watch the baby develop. You see their brain. You see their heart. You can tell if a baby has a heart problem through an ultrasound. And now they have more advanced ultrasounds. And the ultrasound technology that they were using for me was was beyond what I could ever fathom based on what happened with me 2 years prior when I had my other daughter. So for me, there was no excuse. They wanted to give her vitamin K shot to support her brain health, but I ate the right things. There's nothing wrong with me. You've been checking my levels my whole pregnancy.
True, because when you think about it, there's like these women, for example, in some of the most remote places in the world, wherever it might be around the world, their children are super healthy. I mean, yeah, of course, if they lack, the basic means of food, of course, they're gonna have, issues with famine and stuff. But besides these considerations, for those who just manage to just get by, like you see, the children are just like super active. Like I remember, if you go to Senegal, like when I was in Senegal a couple of months ago, it was funny. I was walking on the street with a friend of mine, and we saw these two kids, these three kids actually. They were literally babies. Like the oldest probably was 3 years old, if that, and they were very mature. Like I mean, the maturity of these babies was so I had not seen that level of maturity in a long time. Like they were talking. And there was one that probably was 1 year and a half or something. It was still he was trying to talk, but and the two others they were a little bit older, probably 2 and 3, and they were running things, and they were like, yeah, no, 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 no. It was very funny, and they were on their own by the like nearby the cars. Like literally, there was a there's a pedestrian space, and then there's the road, and they were there, and they were playing their little I don't know what they were doing, but they were playing with like little balls, whatever. And there was a father that was, probably it was a couple of hundred, I mean, couple of meters away from them, but definitely not close enough. So should something happen, he wouldn't have enough time to come and catch them. So those kids were already responsibilized in a way that I was like, well, we over shelter those kids out here in the West, and look at these babies. They already know what danger is. I mean, of course, they don't know what danger is, but they have an idea of danger. So they know that a car is dangerous. Like they'll play, but they play within a limit that has been set for them, and they don't, try their luck, which was very interesting. Very interesting. Like they were responsible. It
Yeah.
was, it was crazy. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, talking
No,
about
you're fine.
mhm.
So that's the thing. If you put a child in an environment, if you put anybody in an environment where they have to learn or fend for themselves, like for example, my daughter, my oldest daughter, she loves to cook.
Mhm.
But she learned that because when she was little and she was crying a lot because of all, my experiences and how it transferred over to her, she loved when she smelled food. When I
Mm.
was cooked, she knew that she was about to eat. And I didn't give her baby food. There was a point where I think
Interesting.
she was 6 months. I was still, breastfeeding her full time. Everything was good until we were sitting at the table. It was the holidays, so I was with my family. I could never fathom a child moving that fast to grab a handful of food and stuff it in her mouth. Like she went and she just grabbed it. I said, okay, just let her eat then. So she always had seasoning and spices and all these good flavorful foods. So um, I would help her in the kitchen. I would make her participate. She would grab the spatula and she'd be on my chest with her legs hanging out and the little thing that you put on the chest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'll give her the spatula and I'll hold her hand and I would do stuff with her. At an early age, she tried to reach over when she was walking on the burner where the pot was. So I moved the pot back and I took her hand and I put it real close and she went like this. And I said, hot, hot,
Mhm.
no. And then she said, hot. She would she's talking. So if you give children the opportunity to learn, they will learn very quickly. You
Yeah,
can't shelter them so much, even though I have two daughters. So you know how I am
of course.
with that. So yeah, it's life is very beautiful when you just allow nature and others that support you to assist you in that growth and development.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Finding that support system is really, really
yeah,
priceless.
it's out there too. It's everywhere. There's people all over the world that are understanding what's going on internally, externally, politically, spiritually, um, on this planet. So people are coming to the forefront to fight for what's right. They're fighting for humanity. They're fighting for their children. They're speaking and allowing themselves to be in their purpose.
Hmm.
So, also what you listen to, the music, we all know this music that they're putting out now is shit. So, it's not just it's not just the words they're saying, because your voice is your first instrument. So
True.
you have to learn how to utilize that. But also when you're speaking, somebody's listening. What are you saying to them that's being embedded in their subconscious?
Hmm.
So they're keeping this programming. So we're biocomputers. So all
Hmm.
of this information is being stored and it can come up later. So you have to allow yourself and afford yourself the environment to hear things that will support you, like binaural beats or good music, spiritual music, or I love house music. I love house music. But I prefer music with no words because I want to create my reality and I want the music to talk to me. So I'm not big on words. But everybody has their own experience because there's great soul music out there. You have great music. There's a lot of people out here that have great music, and I always tell my children you have to be mindful. It's the program. They have music videos to show you the visuals along with the music, and it's captivating your whole brain. And your frontal lobe is not even developed all the way yet. You're still learning how to deal with your own emotions. So it's like flicker. The flicker rate is so fast. You can't even
Yeah.
tell what's coming, all the light and the processing that has to be done. And then the sound, and it's just left and right hemisphere going in all areas. And then you're
Yes.
wondering why these children are suffering.
Hmm.
So it's what you're consuming. We got the food,
So there's a misuse of the
the frequency.
technology and the frequencies that are made available.
Absolutely. The colors, the sounds, the light, and putting all of that together. I mean, Edward Bernays, I have two of his books here. I didn't even need to finish his books because I've studied it for so long. It's just a repetitive follow of his programming and how to utilize doublespeak and
Hmm.
also to utilize communication and how to put people in a state of fear when really we should be operating in this love space. Like, I love
Hmm.
this. I love all of this, really. This whole area right here is an area that I work with a lot because we have to understand how we're communicating,
Yes.
what we're putting our intentions to, what we're putting in our body, in the seat of our soul, our spiritual center that connects everything from the ground to
Hmm.
the ceiling or to the sun and stars, and then to the earth and whatever's below. So when you work in this area, this box, and I'm saying box specifically because you can open this box, and this is something I have to share with people. This area right here is so special because this is where all the information comes in before you're born. This is the
Hmm.
umbilical cord connection to your mother. This is all the organs start to form in this section. This has its own space. In Ifa, we call it Ori. This is another
Hmm.
space. This deals with one thing and this deals with another. So we as earth people have to make sure that we utilize this box and work on it, allow it to be open so that we can understand, feel, and assist our brothers and our sisters here that are walking on this planet. So just it's so important what we consume. It's so important. It has to benefit. It has to be love. It has to be
I,
life.
I agree. I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true what you're saying. And I vibe with that. It's interesting because uh, now that you're saying this, working on the album, finishing the album, and I've noticed that I went and got me a couple of snacks. Um, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, my connection is acting up. Why? Let me see.
Oh no, I hope I'm not the only one left.
No, no, no. You're here. You're good. You're good. You're good. Because I
Yeah.
had to turn off the. Sometimes I don't know why it switches from my Ethernet to the Wi-Fi, which shouldn't be the case. By the way, let me just disconnect it. Cool. You got me. You can hear me properly.
Yes.
So I was like, let me just get. I felt like grabbing a few snacks, um, little stuff like biscuits, whatever. And it's interesting what you were saying about sugar and its impact and its influence on you. And I would agree with you. I think there's got to be something connected with swings related to sugar. You know, and I have been consuming a little bit more sugar than I usually do. With those little snacks, and you get a little this and a little that. Oh là là, papa que chamukulu coucou, quelle donation! Ah, he
Okay.
said lots of love for
Oh,
for
thank you.
Nikki. Ah là là, beloved. Ooh, papa qui est le sponsor est de retour. The return of the number one sponsor.
Keisha, man.
And so, and it's interesting because I've been feeling a little bit, yeah, a little bit, low for no reason. And as I cut down on the sugar, because obviously I was like, and I had some snacks. I was like, I'm done eating that shit. I felt it was my body was literally telling me this is just not good for you. Just leave it alone.
Mhm.
And so I switched to just getting back to some normal diet, and I can see, for example, today I had no like yesterday and today I had nothing sweet. Um, and yeah, this evening I feel like my system has recuperated for some reason, and I've noticed that maybe I'm making it up. I don't think so because I'm very well in touch with myself. But yeah, man, so I concur with you. Sugar is it's the root of all evil, huh? Especially when what happens to your system. The truth
Yeah.
is it's true. Like anything too much sweet, and I love my sweets. I prefer salty food, but I do like my man, Ben and Jerry's or some of these like nasty
Ugh.
things.
I'm a savory girl. I love oregano and thyme and rosemary and ginger and
I got you. That's all sweet and lullaby and
oh,
all
but
that.
it's
But
it's so
I like me some of that creme fraiche.
no, I love fruit.
Oh,
I love mango. I'm a mango whore.
I'm with
I
you. I'm with
mango
you. I'm a big
every
watermelon and mango
oh,
consumer.
watermelon too. And the watermelons we have here are as big as like my whole torso.
Damn.
And you can make juice for days and you can plant the seeds and I have watermelon growing out in the yard right now. Hopefully it makes it
Nice.
because it's August
That's
and the
right.
season's almost over. But I mean it's fruit is so good. But I love cookies. I do love cookies.
You
That's
see, you
I
see.
love cookies and I love chips. So that
So
is my weakness.
you
We
feel
all
me?
have our
So
weaknesses, yeah.
so every once in a while I have some of those Cheetos.
Ooh.
Is it Cheetos or you know? I guess what? Yeah, I think yeah, Cheetos. Yeah. And now they made them spicy, and I was like, oh god.
Oh
But
yeah.
if I have like a little craving, I know not to go to the mall uh, and do grocery shopping with an empty belly. I don't do it, but sometimes it happens that I haven't eaten and I have to go quickly while I'm running errands, whatever. And I just see that bag and I'm like, shit.
Oh yeah. Well, the food there is good too. When I had my opportunity to visit, I lost
Yeah,
weight eating. I
yeah,
lost
because
weight
the
eating.
food here can be great, and even the chips and all that. It's made differently. It's different. There's still, I guess, some humanity that is transmitted in the process of making
No,
the
Europe
foods.
has this thing with food. Even when I was growing up in Germany, the bread was different, the pasta was different,
Hmm.
and I want to talk about that too for a second.
Please go ahead.
The bread,
Yeah,
the
the bread
bread
is
here,
dangerous,
the bread here is dangerous.
but here too, you know.
Not, I mean, I rarely eat bread here because the wheat we have here is called Franken wheat. I don't know if that's like that across the planet, but I ate it when I was over there. So this wheat here has been processed, genetically engineered over and over and over again to the point where it's literally damaging our body. It's extremely acidic. It produces inflammation. It's not good for your gut health. And it's just not in its natural form. Real oats.
I concur. I concur because there was some stuff that I bought, like some biscuits and stuff that I made with, I guess, that kind of wheat. The moment I eat one of those, I can sense it when it falls into my system, in my system. 2 hours later, not even, I'm starting to have acid reflux, like
Yeah.
really heavy burns. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can dig that.
So if you think about the food, you have your environment, you have your phone, TV, computer, and all the propaganda. You have the public school system. You have your parents who are paying attention to the news and they're feeding you the same propaganda because they believe it. How do you get out of that cycle? How do you become healthy? How do you
But then
keep
everything is propaganda, Nikki. Because then you are also pushing a certain agenda as well. So my
Well,
thing
that is
is,
true, but it's to get back to the natural state. The thing is to come back to center, come back to your natural state as much as possible because everything
okay.
outside of nature is not natural. That's how I feel about it. But everybody needs to do, like I said, what they need to do. But there's going to come a point on this planet where people are going to be tired and they're going to know and understand to a point where they will fight because so many people are having dis-ease and they're coming down with things that don't make sense. It does nothing makes sense. In the things and the ways that I've had to help people before I even came across this information, just intuitively understanding, seeing what's in their kitchen, seeing what's in their household, seeing what the communication is and how it's creating more stress and distress in their body. Just
Mhm.
it makes sense. Everything. It's all working together to dumb us down and to keep us enslaved and sick for the system. So until you free yourself from
Mm.
that aspect of it,
I guess I see your point, especially in America. This is very very
it's bad.
visible. You see that because I mean when I have American channels here at home, and whenever I put like maybe like the what's that network for the anyway, forgot the name of it. But there's commercials literally every 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, and it's always insurance, pharmacy, or yeah, or
Exactly.
yeah.
Or
It
gardening or
yeah.
anything related to food. So
No,
there's gonna be something that's
you can't get it up. Here's a pill for this. You got a heart problem. There's a pill for that. Call us.
but and then
And
and
then they
there's
have the
caution.
disclaimer.
There's a disclaimer. Exactly.
They have that long disclaimer where the guy's talking fast so you don't understand them. Just come get it. And then you have McDonald's. You got all
And
the
they have Whoopi Goldberg promoting that one specific drug. It's like
yeah.
I take this for my heart or some shit like that. It's like you know.
Yeah, you got McDeath, you have Taco Hell, you have, because we have all these names for it. Now we call them meal deal places. So you get a meal deal, you're literally killing yourself. Yeah, Church's Chicken. I mean, there's so many. When I was in Europe, I didn't see a lot of fast food restaurants like that. I saw like
There is, but
mom
it's
and
not.
pop
Yes,
businesses, people that create these businesses, and you can get all kinds of food everywhere, especially in Amsterdam. I really loved it because I could taste the real food. And I said, oh, so this is their version of Chinese food. This is their version of falafel. This is, chocolate. Come on, like this, all this stuff. And then
Yeah, flavors are different.
I got back here in 2018, and I went into a serious state of depression
Mhm.
because I'm back at it again in this cycle, back at work, serving toxic food in a toxic environment, surrounded by toxic people, these people are doing toxic things, wondering why their life is so bad. And I'm sitting here looking at my people like, what can I do? So,
But I think that's really, really something that we're noticing as well, more and more in bigger cities in Europe. Like that same sort of like experience that is revolving principally on toxicity. You know, um, at home, from the thoughts that you cultivate to the people around you, to the Instagram feed that you go through, to everything is just about competition. You know, being validated by people you don't even know, people you don't really like. You shouldn't even really give too much.
yeah, how many likes do you have? I can work with you if you have this many likes.
Yeah,
She's shaking her ass over here. He's trying to sell a t-shirt that costs $10 for $50. It's just all this stuff. And I'm just like, and my daughters see it and they're like, what is going on? Why is she doing this? Why is she dressed like that? Because I show them, because I filter through Instagram and TikTok to get information. But you have to
mhm.
go through all this stuff to get all of this information. You have to weed through the bullshit.
But that's the thing. Not everybody is capable of critical mind, of having the capacity to just put something in perspective and say, hey, you know what? Maybe this is not quite right. Maybe I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting? Everybody's not supposed to either. They didn't come for that experience.
That's true. Not everybody is
I'm
supposed to.
here.
That's
Yeah,
very
I'm
true.
here for this. You're here for that. And people who are ready to experience healing and communication on another level, they'll get to you. And
True.
that's what I'm experiencing when I'm doing my sessions. I have to vet people before they come. I have to ask them a lot of questions, see where their mind is, because I work out of a sacred space and my children are watching me work. And I have clients that come here. So it's not just me protecting my family, it's protecting my clientele as well. So you have a choice when it's time for you to make that choice to involve yourself in the healing experience so that you can remove these things. Everybody's not meant to walk that walk. It's a lonely and hard walk, healing. And it's
Hmm.
and everybody's not a king, everybody's not a god, everybody wants these titles and they don't deal with their shit. And then I see them and people are starting to recognize who's walking authentically in their purpose in light. So everybody's not meant to do that journey. Some people are just here as a number.
There's
That's
there's also on that journey, talking about that journey and healing. There's a brother I was listening to his interview today on Joe Rogan's podcast on Spotify. Brothers Jason Wilson,
Mhm.
and he there's a video of him as a brother that was teaching. There was this kid that was they were like he's a martial art practitioner and teacher, and there was this kid that started to cry. I don't know if you he kind
I
of
saw
like went
that.
viral, and he was like, it's okay to cry, and so this guy is doing quite a lot of great work as far as helping men and young men and little boys being in touch with their emotions, because this this masculine
Toxic masculinity.
toxic. Well, we didn't use the word toxic because I feel like this is it's also it's a gimmick, that toxic masculinity. But I mean, for
Yeah,
lack of a
that's what
better
they
word,
call it.
maybe
But yeah, it's
for that
unhealthy aspects of
and
emotion.
healthy manhood, like I would say,
Yeah.
and healthy masculinity. Uh,
Yeah, instead of saying toxic, you're right. Let's move to a space of healthy masculinity.
exactly, by embracing your emotions, by welcoming them, by not dismissing. And the
And
guy,
not dimming people's light for expressing themselves either.
and the brother, wrote this book called, I believe, Battle Cry, and it's
I've
all
heard
about
of
that.
that.
Like,
I heard of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna order it because I wanna check it out because I've done this journey myself. Also through work and sessions with the good and beloved sister, the Empress Vogue, who has really helped me on that journey. You yourself as well have contributed. A couple of influential women and humans in my life have helped me come to understand some of the reasons behind the suffering and how to alleviate that suffering, etc. And
Yeah.
in substance, I would say that the necessity for one to really be um, on the journey to healing themselves is super important. However, having the right people to help that person on that journey is super important as well.
Yes. And
And
it's nice
talking, go ahead.
it's nice that women are assisting men. I'm shocked at how many men I've worked with so far. And I love it because when you assist a man, he can then assist his woman. He can
Absolutely.
assist the family.
But vice versa, I think it's important
Yes.
because I think also women have been, I don't know if they've been raised, or I don't know if they, like, there's also a sense of dismissing men's emotions and always looking down and always saying, well, man up. Oh, well, you got to be strong. Like, sometimes you just can't be strong. Sometimes you need to be able to let go and to be held, in and with love, and not feel diminished because you've manifested some levels of sensitivity, not even weakness, just
Yeah.
sensitivity, because it's not weakness.
I
And
was
even if you want to call it this way, then that's okay, because we are just humans. It's okay to be weak at times.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's just stuff is starting to flood in, but
Go
even
ahead, yeah.
even when I was growing up and I noticed this and I was doing this with my daughters and then one day it clicked. I said, "No, this is not healthy." Um, when you get spanked or, chastised is what they call it here, or disciplined by your parents, and they tell you to stop crying. Why? Why would I stop crying? I'm hurt. Why can I not express myself and let you know that I'm hurt? And then just life in itself, like crying and letting it out. And when clients come here, they do that a lot. They cry and I tell them while we're in session, when I get to this place in their body, they start crying. And I said, okay, you have to let it out and you
Yeah.
can't hold it in anymore. You came here and this is what your ancestors, this is what spirit, all of your comrades are in here. They're providing you a space so that you can do this work so that when you leave here better, more in tune with your mission, so that you can assist your brothers. It's almost like you're paying it forward when you do this work with others because
Hmm.
you have the ability to recognize and to assist and you keep moving forward with it.
Absolutely.
So, and not having guilt about crying. Because sometimes when I cry,
Yeah.
especially when I'm expressing myself, I'm like, damn, I cried in front of this motherfucker. Like I'm so like I didn't want to have that moment, but then I think, but it's okay because now they know that I have no fear in expressing myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Therefore, we can have a real conversation. This is what people need and this is what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be judging myself because I allowed myself to free myself from the stress that was in my body and it came out through tears.
Hmm.
I'm not yelling, I'm not cursing, I'm not being violent. If this is the most peaceful way that I can release it and I
Yeah.
can and if I can yell and allow it to come out, then I appreciate that. No one should have shame in expressing themselves. No one should have any shame in expressing themselves when they're healing either. So it needs to continue to be that circle and understanding. And women need assistance from men as well. I'm still seeking men that do the work or similar work that I do without wanting to be sexually active with
Hmm.
women that they're healing.
Yeah, and I think that's also one of the issues with spiritual work, or spirited. uh, sort of like uh, forms of healing. There's that sexual energy that has, so I wouldn't say predominant, but it can be rather present,
Yes.
and one has to know how to balance it and not use it. At least that's my reading of it. You might contradict me or add or whatever, but I would say that one has to really be aware of the importance of not of using that energy wisely
Yes.
and maneuvering without it becoming a blockage for the actual treatment.
Yes. Well, sexual energy is very important energy. It's the first act of assisting in manifestation for even giving birth.
Hmm.
So, if it's utilized properly from an energetic standpoint and from a healing standpoint, however you choose to do it, it has to be done in a sacred space and not
Hmm.
when you're seeking healing. If someone didn't ask for that, then
No, you
don't give
should.
it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Serious.
Don't
That's
offer it
not the goal.
either. Because
Yeah,
then, because people already have their preconceived notions about what sex is, when in reality, it is one of the most beautiful acts that we could ever do to assist in our purest form of manifestation. When
I
your
agree.
partner is in alignment with you and you're producing this energy, and that's another subject in itself, but it's so important.
We're gonna need to do a show just on that,
Yeah,
which actually we
yeah,
will. But I I I think as we talk about healing and spiritual work, um, you spoke of the one of the um, evolution that you've embraced as far as your personal practice and adding just another skill set to your vast array of capacities,
yeah,
which is healing via sounds.
yeah.
And the balls and I'm seeing and we all see this setup behind you with actually may I ask you just to like give us a little just spread some of that energy through the sounds right before we
Sure,
dive into this, please,
I
if you
will.
don't mind.
Which would you prefer?
Something
Because
is just visualize what the
I got it.
viewers,
I got it.
that's your call.
Let me get my bowls. Give me 1 second. All right.
Yes.
So I'm going to place them on the table here because with the microphone, you can pick these up just using like
Hmm.
condenser microphones. This is a condenser, so it will pick up the space pretty well. Excuse the noise in the background. I have my little fruit snack
So
back
good.
there. But these are Tibetan healing bowls. These are not singing bowls. It is not the most healing way to produce a healing sound when you sing the bowl. And I'll show you that in a second. These are full moon bowls, so they're blessed during a full moon. And this is the
Yeah.
symbol
Hmm.
that it has on it. And you can order these on Etsy. You can order them through other dealers. My advice is if you want to step into sound, go to Etsy and go through the process of understanding, do your pricing, things of that nature. Sometimes they have deals. And I would start with one bowl and I would start with a small hand bowl like this or a set of two. The reason why I say two is because we have two sides of our body. We have two sides of our brain. We have two lungs, two ovaries, 2 feet, two hands, two ears, two eyes, two nostrils. Um, so you want to balance that out. Even sitting here while I'm communicating with you, I have two crystals, and these assist me so I can make sure I stay in the the realm of speaking about healing and keeping that intention. I see it,
Hmm.
I know how it works. It's a reminder. Just
Hmm.
like you're wearing the color yellow. This is yellow. It's the same energy. It's
Hmm.
manifestation energy. It's
Hmm.
Oshun energy. It's the sun energy. It's so much. So these bowls are made with 7 metals. How you would sing the bowl is you would go around. So you see these bowls that coming from these dealers, and they have this brass ring on it, and then they're dark, and then they have a brass bottom. These are the ones that you sing. It has one tone. Whereas if you play this one, let me take my ring off so it doesn't vibrate. When you play this bowl, and let me know if it's too loud or too abrasive. Can you hear that okay? So when you play this bowl, it's giving you more than one frequency. It's giving you so much more. And that's why I deal with these rather than the other bowls that just sing, because it's just giving me one tone. I'm a multifaceted being. I need all the assistance. So when you're and I specifically picked these 4 bowls. So, and they're still going. And when you play them close to each other, you start understanding that they're playing together. They're bouncing frequencies off each other, the pressure from the impact. I can't hear you.
Sorry. I was muting my sound so that we can have the
Okay.
full experience.
Yeah,
That's
so
really, really powerful. Yeah, I've had a session years ago in Mykonos, in Greece, with this guy that was doing healing with the balls, and it was amazing. He set up this thing on the floor, and it was literally there was this cliff, and there was a sea right underneath the cliff, and you could see just the wave crushing, crashing on the stones, and all this. It was amazing. It was amazing, and there was just this rush of energy, and I started crying, because I was just like, yeah, there was just too much energy. It wasn't tears of pain or anything. It was just tears of just release, I guess.
yeah. So what the frequencies with these bowls and the gong, especially the gong, like
So what's up? What's up? You're gonna give some of that gong
I
vibe?
don't know how it's going to sound.
It's okay. It's
get
okay.
it.
It's just for that spirit. We just want to get that vibe. Come on, yo.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
because a
get
lot
it
of people
now.
don't know what that is about. So come on.
Okay, I can't bring it any closer because I have a whole mat here. So hopefully let me bring the mic forward a little bit, and then I can share this with you guys. So
Right.
so if you can hear me, these gongs are forged in Wuhan, right?
That's right. They're corona free.
Yeah, so if you see the one on well, I don't know if that's your left or your right. It's my right. It's the smaller one.
Yeah.
So this gong is called the Mother Tesla. This is what they coined it, but it's really just a raw gong. It's forged in a fire and it's not lathed, so it has a very deep sound. For me, it sounds like a piece of the universe, the higher aspects of the universe. The one behind this one on the left, that is like these two are subwoofer gongs. So they have very deep tones. So I don't even know if you're going to hear it. So I have to play it in a different way with different mallets. Let me show you. There's more. There's about 6 more. So there's so many mallets. But when you're playing with the gong, what it does is it washes the energy over you, and it literally activates all the energy in all the cells in your body to work cohesively to assist in your healing. I love working with these. As I'm talking, I can hear my
we
voice.
can hear it. We can hear it. Yeah.
So I'll play. Let me make sure. Is anything? Oh, that's the microphone. So, and then there's the chair. All right. So let me get this started over here. Can you hear that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you hear it okay?
Perfectly. It's amazing, yo.
So yeah, so that's a little example. I don't usually play like that. I'm shocked that you could hear it. I'm excited.
It's
This lets me
actually
know that I can
amazing. We can actually feel the vibration. I mean, I could literally feel the vibration through the headphones,
Yes. And this is
the
one
in ears.
more. This is one more that I'll share with you.
Oh yes, this one. Hey, yo,
So
this
this
one
is a
is.
21-inch bowl. You can see how big it is. I
Mm,
would lay this on somebody's body if they've had a lot of trauma.
hmm
Um, and one day, very soon, I'll share a link with you so that you could share it with everybody that's following on the channel. I just did an hour long session for a group of healers, and they utilized it this weekend because there's a lot of trauma that's just happening, and the healers are starting to step out in the community. So
Absolutely.
I played the gong with the bowl. They don't necessarily, for me, in my healing and what I do, this doesn't necessarily work well together. However, what it does is it brings up different aspects of the self. So
Okay.
if you're to, hold on one second, I'm just moving around. Forgive me.
Oh please, man, we chilling. We vibing.
Yeah.
This is what this is about.
So if you do, that's a little other example.
Yo, I was literally closing my eyes and feeling that energy, yo. Yo, this is deep. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you very much. That's a gift because it's that's your work, that's your practice, and thank you for sharing that with us, man.
Oh,
Oof.
no problem. Let me get myself back settled.
Yo, family, y'all see how it's done. Nicki Monty on the ones and twos in a different way.
Yeah, literally. But it's such a beautiful process because last year made all of us face ourselves. We didn't have
Yes.
anywhere to run. We didn't have an escape. We couldn't go to the liquor store. Sometimes we couldn't go to the store. We couldn't go see our friends. And
Mm,
I'm a loner anyway. I don't care. I love people, but I don't like all of them.
mhm,
So what it made me do is think about certain tactics that I was utilizing for escapism. I
mhm,
would just go to work.
mm,
Wasn't making enough money. Why am I still going to work? Why am I not doing something else with myself? It was all this fear that I had, and it made me I didn't have anything else. It was like Prince, just,
yeah, man.
just in my face. And I just saw Prince's picture the other day, and he was going like this, something like this. I was like, damn, that's what 2020 was like. It was that close
That's
to like
right. That's right.
hitting me in my
That's right.
face. And
Yeah.
I said, I can't do this. Um, I didn't like how I was feeling. I didn't like being here on this planet. I didn't like existing, being in my body. I didn't like anything. I could
Mhm.
feel people's stress, all the fear behind it. I have a picture that I took right after it started, and there's a store called Lowe's where you get your hardware and stuff to fix the house and all this shit. And I didn't have a mask on. Nobody had a mask on, but it was
Mhm.
after they announced like they're shutting it down. They didn't know what to do, and then all this stuff came so fast, and people, oh, I need toilet paper, I need bottled water, all this stuff, and I'm just like, God damn! If all this shit shut down tomorrow, where do I stand with all this? And all of my military experience came to the forefront,
Yeah,
and it
because
was
you
stressing.
used to be in the military,
Yes,
in the
I was in
army.
the army, so it's like fight or flight.
Hmm.
What do I do to protect my family, myself, my neighbors? Who are my friends that I can call on? Everybody just went that way. And I had to sit with myself and I said, "Oh shit. This must be what it feels like to die.
Mm.
You come here alone, you die alone. Who do you
True.
trust? Yourself." I didn't have a community because I was so busy working, and people are just so, they're not authentic, and I don't like to
People are
waste my
flaky, right?
time. Yeah, I don't like to waste my time with people that are not living their true authentic self. So I was really alone, and I said, okay, let me get back into my energy healing. Let me start doing more music. I wasn't motivated to do music. I said I want my music to make me feel good. I really want to feel good. And that's when I produced a different album last year. Um, the one that sounds more electronic and
Yes.
has, elements of acid. It's interesting. That's the most different stuff I've done. And then I said, all right, it feels good, but it's not, it's part of me, but it's a shallow part of my soul. Like, this is the
Mm.
fun part. This is me wanting to go out and dance and experience life the way that it used to be. I can't. So I created something for me to dance to in the house and for others. And if they gather, then they can gather and enjoy themselves. It's not crazy ass music.
Hmm.
Good for that. This year I did my Journey album, and it's called Journey
Hmm.
because I went on a journey. I went on a literal medicine journey with myself. And that's when I really connected and I said, oh, and I was told that I'm a facilitator of sound healing. I've been doing it this whole time, but with the wrong intention. And that's
Hmm.
how all of this started coming because I always had stuff, but I also have my drums, I have my medicine rattle, I have my feathers, I have, you know, crystal bowls, tuning forks, Tibetan bowls, gongs. Um, I use my hands. We are, our hands are our first tools of healing. We all have this energy that we can utilize to assist others. So the laying of hands is something that's very well known in the church here. We're literally, people have been doing this since the beginning of time. We've always
Hmm.
had an energy in our body. It's just lying dormant because of society. But
Very true.
yes, if we use our
The hands are very
imagination,
powerful. Yeah.
yes, if we use our imagination, if we use the talents that have been given to us. I mean, I'm reading these articles from these men that are coming from the late 18th, early 19th, early 20th century, and they're talking about crystals, the metaphysics of the mind, the power of imagination and thought, and all of these things. And these are things that indigenous Aboriginal people have always known,
Hmm.
but because we didn't write it down, it was lost. So
Hmm.
now I have to collect this information by working with my ancestors in spirit, the creator, the source, the ancient ones, the helpers, the guides, the ascended masters, all these energies that we call in when we're doing our work, when I do my work. Um, and they guide me into these spaces where I can learn how to play the gong.
So, what do you say to people who, when you speak like that, and they say, "Oh, this
I
is
don't,
Satan's work. This is evil. This is juju."
okay, well,
What do you respond to them?
well, I tell them, well, that's an interesting program that you're running.
Hmm.
Your
I agree.
Windows 95. Like, I can't, I can't. You're Linux. You know,
That's right.
that's that old shit. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm older than that. This
Mm-hmm.
is older than your way of thought. So
Mm-hmm.
don't you sing in church? Don't you guys have tambourines and
Mm-hmm.
shakers? Don't you yell for the voice of the Lord? Do you know who you're really worshiping? I mean,
He the
that's what I ask.
proper counsel answer. That's what I
Yeah,
was.
God backwards is
Mhm.
dog. Are you worshiping this beings from the star Sirius, the dog star? I mean, can we get real with it? Like, you need to do the etymology behind these words, and you need to do the history behind how this spiritual sister of religion that you're adhering to, how it was built.
Mhm.
You know, because religion means to bind. If you look at the etymology behind that, to bind, to enslave. So I'm spiritual. I'm dealing with energy that has been brought forth from the cosmos to assist me here on my walk. We have our earth beings, our cosmic energy that we work with, which what you want to call it, stars or planets,
Mhm.
astrology. We have numerology. We
Mhm.
have all these different systems. It is natural to us. These are encoded systems that we can utilize to assist us here on this earth walk and in our transition when we leave this planet or this plane. So when people come at me like that, I just, and it's been a long time, because when they look at me, they already know. They already know. She's wearing a feather. And when I see people, when I went out the other day and I had my feather and I was standing like this at the door waiting for my service because they wouldn't let me in because I won't wear a mask. I've had damage that's been done to my chest being in the military. So
Mhm.
one of my lungs are, I'm working with it. So the
Mhm.
damage that's been done is a lesson for me to learn more about my herbs. So everything that has
Mm.
happened to me didn't happen to me, it happened for me to learn and how to exist and heal myself and assist others. This is the whole thing. It's not happening to you, it's happening for you. We're here to
Mhm.
learn. If you believe in reincarnation or continuing these experiences coming back, we're learning here. This is a place to learn. So I want to evolve and go to the next space and continue my evolution, because I'm experiencing this for the one that created me. So I want to do my best here. So people don't come at me like that anymore, but they see me. They see me. They see
What
me.
what you just said is very powerful. It just resonated with me in a different way.
Hmm.
When you're sent to the next phase,
Hmm.
which most people consider once you die, there's nothing. There's a sense of nothingness when it's actually, well, it's a question of beliefs, right? Well, we believe that there's
Yes. Well,
much more than just. But I guess
there's
that's what people want to call paradise, and
yes.
that's the limited approach to understanding hell and, I guess, I don't know, hell
No,
and
like
paradise.
there.
Or
So what? So I always like to ask people that are religious, what do you think is animating this body?
Mhm.
Oh, it's the soul. If you've seen a dead body, something is gone. Something is transitioned out. I've seen it myself. My trauma. So when I think of that and what I saw, it's so interesting,
Mhm.
because now I can understand that there's something in us that is animating this body. We can't live without electricity. So something is in there and it's gone, and it's coming through the womb space. There's a spark that happens when the sperm meets the egg. And then you keep on growing. The cell keeps growing and multiplying and constantly until we get this. You're going to tell me there's nothing else after this? You think that this is it? When you see somebody and their eyes are open and there's no life there, where did it go? You think it just extinguished itself like it's a candle and the flame is gone? No. We have
Mhm.
this consciousness, we have these experiences, we have all of, I mean, look at this. My hands and how I'm talking. And while I'm talking, my brain and my neurons are firing. I'm using my left brain, my right brain, my my frontal lobe. I'm pulling information from my subconscious and bringing it forth to my consciousness. Some things that I speak, I don't even understand, but I remember it because it's not just been told to me here in this life. It's more than that. It's
Mhm.
it's consciousness.
100%.
Everything has an energy. Even things that we feel are dead is still an energy. It's just not an electrified, animated energy. So, and then we all, our bodies return back to the dust, and our spirits or our souls, our breath returns back to existence. And what if we choose to continue to dwell here, then we do. I mean, we create this, we create our reality. So if people would like to live in that reality, then that's fine.
Imagine
But
the amount of.
before that it was ancient Aboriginal practices. It was scarification, it was tattoos, it was understanding who your comrades were. It was war for food and not war for property, or it was different things. We didn't even think like
Yeah, it's
that.
true. It's true, and it's
Yeah.
also interesting because there's was the way you're putting things, which is very very pedagogical. Um, it's it's almost like, well, it's not almost. We've been, but there's a sense of like there's a reverse education where it's like there's a sense of urgency and fear because we've been told that after this there's nothing. You're gone forever. You're
Yeah.
never back. You're never this, and it's like that sense of urgency can be very, very, very pressing, very traumatic, traumatic in many ways for a lot of people. I mean, I remember as a kid, that whole idea was very traumatic to me, very scary, like death, life. I didn't understand, and people, the explanations they were giving to me were just never doing it for me, never. And it's so interesting when you're able to, like, not only be exposed to the information that, yeah, there's a sense, well, there's life after death in the sense of your spirit, your breath, your soul is transitioning to a different realm,
Mm-hmm.
but also that you're exposed to your own capacities to tap into some of that observation from with your human understanding in your human mind.
Yeah.
But a part of that so-called divine energy, or supreme energy, is giving you a glimpse into that consciousness. You have a very narrow perception of the magnitude, yeah, the magnitude of this whole thing,
Yeah.
and it can be super scary and super humbling, or super encouraging and also very humbling. Um, but I see some people and I'm looking at them and I see the way they live their lives and I'm like, no judgments, but I'm just like, yo, too sad for your ass, man. I wish upon certain people to just be able to be touched by that sense of like, that's not just it. There's
Yeah.
much more. And I know it's not easy to believe because, we've not been educated to believe that. But
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the church.
mm,
I grew up in the church. I grew up Baptist. Um, I did Seventh Day Adventist. I did Mormon. I did Catholic. I I did Wiccan. I did Celtic. And I went back to Jesus. And then I was brought to Orisha. It all is the same stuff. It's
it's
just
just different
different
takes to
ways
it.
of dealing with it. And honestly, I'm at a point in my life where my Earth Day is coming. So my birthday is coming soon. I'm stepping
Mhm.
into a new decade. I'm not going to beg some spirits that I don't know to please help me. And I'm not going to do that every day. If you didn't hear me, I look at my children. If you didn't hear me the first time, then you're not getting it. So I need you to move out of the way.
Mhm.
I need the job to be done. So even the way I pray now, it's to call forth my assistance and not to beg, please, please, please. No, this
Mhm.
needs to be done now. I need you to come forth to assist this soul here. I need you to assist me, show me how to work, give me your eyes,
Mm.
allow me to understand what is. what I need to make right so that I may have a better existence while I'm here.
Powerful.
So I don't beg anymore. My ancestors have told me this. Orisha have told me this. My spirits have, when I do my medicine journeys, they tell me the same thing. You can't tell me everything. All these energies that I work with are telling me the same thing. You shouldn't be begging. We are a part of you. You are a part of us. We
And it's
don't,
true. Huh? It's true.
yeah,
I was reading something. I can't remember where, but it was saying that anything that you ask God, and if you ask or the Creator or the creation, but if you ask from a position of begging and weakness and I am insignificant, then you're going to get insignificant things and you won't get any results. Whereas if you actually you're not equal, but you're in the image of, and you not even assert, but you claim what is promised to you. You
yeah,
know what your soul or your heart desires, as long as you know this is motivated by pure intentions. But even then, the truth is that we always say that as long as you have good intentions, we see that even people with bad intentions also obtain what they want. It's just that they're tapping into a different set of energy that within that realm function, with their own codes of, lower vibrational, whatever frequencies.
mm,
But when you vibrate high, there's so much. It takes a little longer, but the result is very, 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 very,
oh
very
yeah,
powerful and
no,
last and last longer.
yeah, if you work with that process, and I don't like the word trust, I
Hmm.
like to know.
Yeah,
So I know
knowing, yeah.
that I'm putting forth the effort, therefore it is going to happen for me because I'm walking in
Hmm.
my truth. So I don't have to worry. I'm not in the state of where I used to be in fear, and when I used to worry about, you know, monetary, even though I have children and I'm living in this realm, I know I need to eat. So spirits, I'm breaking this week. Let's bring on more people. And I swear it happens like this, the synchronicities and how things line up for me, for my benefit, so that I can continue to do this good work, because I don't stop my work. I just take a hiatus because I need to reestablish the boundaries in my body and understand that I need to remove energy that is attached to me, to heal my body, to heal my womb, to heal my heart, because I feel people, especially when I'm working with them. So,
Hmm.
and these energies, when you work with them, it's so funny. They're like, they're comedians sometimes, and they don't want to leave. It's like a party. It's like a
Hmm.
party when you do your work. You feel you're not walking as alone as you thought you were.
Hmm.
So if you believe in Jesus, Jesus is not that far. If you believe in God, God is not that far. God is in you, around you, with you all the time. Reflections of God are in the trees, in the birds, and the animals, in the nourishment that you're receiving, in the work that you put out in the world that's of love and kindness. And not everything
Hmm.
that comes from the sources is all flowers. Everything that exists here on this plane was created by the source. So this is
Hmm.
a part of our experience. So it's just how we deal with it. And again, what we choose to consume, which makes and creates.
Wisdom is always like that, right? You share, and then there's a point where you're just like, that's it, that's enough.
Even what I'm saying, it's like, damn, I didn't know it was all like that in me. But it's,
No,
you
it's
know,
there, of course.
no, but as I'm getting older, I'm going gray. And I'm like,
It's
oh,
talking about
there's some more
talking
info. That's
talking about going gray. It's not to fluff you in any way, but you do not look that great. So you're good. You're good. You're good.
Oh,
You're
thank you. No, but even thinking about that, like aging healthy so that I can be here. I can
Absolutely.
share this with my grandchildren and great grandchildren. I'm so excited to live long so that I can
Hmm.
touch all the babies, before I leave, and leave my imprint, my physical imprint. And I
Amen.
told my daughters, what I want them to do with my body when I leave, how I want them to always carry my memory and continue to speak it, because I will be one of the greatest ancestors, because I've done my work. And I
Amen.
thank all my ancestors, but even my ancestors that I honor now, watch me, and they assist me, and they're so proud of me because I do my work. They're not gone. Death is not what people think it is. So everything of the spiritual realm is attainable. It's just what intention do you want to put out there? How do you want to work and operate? If you believe in Jesus, that's fine. That's your program. That's what you came here for. I don't judge anybody. I've walked that walk. But these people out here, we're coming. The indigenous, the aboriginal, sharing this knowledge and information, dispelling the lies, assisting people in finding their own truth, and making sure that their journey is more understood day to day. It's it's a beautiful thing to assist people. It's not easy, but it's the worthwhile work. And I appreciate even having the platform with you to talk about it, because I've been in this place of fire. I want to share so much.
That's right.
I want to share so much. Time is of the essence.
It is.
We're in a major crisis, and the world is changing, and we need to stay here and make sure that we assist our brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So it's important to continue to share this information. You motivate me to continue. I have fear of speaking in public. So when I don't see anybody, it's like, oh, it's okay. But in reality, I need to get out of the way of that, because the voices are needed from the healers. People are seeking it, and there's a lot of inauthenticity out there. People are desperate and they want answers. So
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit out there for
yeah.
sure.
So if anybody has any questions or comments or concerns, um, I'll look at the video for a while, and I'll answer as best as I can. See what
Better
resources.
yet, better
Yeah.
yet, I think family, you guys should follow Nikki. Check her out on Instagram. Also, if you're in the states and you're watching this, reach out to her. And you know, definitely inquire her healing work and her services, because I think that um, don't take it just from me, but take it, I believe, from people that can testify on that, on their experience with Nikki, just as a human being. Um, yeah, it's rare to meet people who just have a genuine interest in seeing another human being, no matter the gender, the social background, etc., 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 being so kind and so caring, So, and on top of that, gifted with the capacity to help you um, heal and, you know,
Yeah.
evolve as peacefully as you can.
Yeah. And I always tell people that come to me, I don't have all the answers, but I will do my best to assist you in finding what you need, because I'm growing a wonderful community. I'm so thankful for that too. Because I need healing too. I'm still on my journey. But
Yeah,
I
we
choose
all do.
Yeah, but I choose to assist, so it's
And
yeah.
by me, we all do. I'm not dismissing your thing. I think that added to what you're saying, and that's what we're here for. Like, you hear me, I hear you. We are here to really, really look out for one another.
That's the
Remembering
circle.
that, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
powerful thing. It's a very, very powerful thing.
Yes.
It's it's how can I put it? It's one of those things that you feel you feel it more than anything. It's like you can sense when one of your kindred spirits is in need of that
Yeah.
support, that energy, that healing.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
Hmm.
But I know someone said, how do we get away from big pharma earlier in the chat?
Master Electronics was asking how we can get away from big pharma and
Yeah.
what is big pharma according to your understanding.
What is big pharma? What? I'm sorry.
according to your understanding?
Um, well, with the way that it works here in the US, it is one of the most diabolical businesses on this side. Because if it is really to help people, it wouldn't be so expensive or unattainable for those that are underprivileged and underserved. And the ingredients that they're putting in there do more damage than good. So, my take on Big Pharma, also with talking with people from Cleveland Clinic, because when I lived in Cleveland, I spoke with a doctor, wonderful woman. Um, I choose not to name her at this time because she's going through a lot of lawsuits
Okay.
because she is fighting for people.
Hmm.
But she's the one that advised me on how to take an approach towards the medical industry regarding my children and how to keep them away from the medicine, the toxins, as best as I possibly can. So I feel that big pharma is damaging our earth by polluting our waters. I feel that they're damaging our bodies and polluting our minds and not being truthful or honest because there's so many lawsuits that are here pending now in the US from what's the name of that? Viagra? From Viagra?
Silence.
Yeah, yeah. All these things, Lipitor and the stuff, the adverse reactions. There are people out here that need an EpiPen. Why does an EpiPen cost $800? Why does it cost $800? What if it's a diabetic child or somebody that goes into one of these shocks or somebody that has a seizure and they need an EpiPen, but they work at McDonald's and they have no insurance and they're going to school? Then what about them? They don't get a quality, they don't get a chance at life because they can't afford an $800 EpiPen. So yeah, it's no to
So
big
so big
no big
pharma is a
pharma no.
system, is a pharmaceutical system that
I'm
forces.
trying to be nice. I'm trying to be
No,
nice.
don't try to be nothing. Just drop what you need to drop, man. Because and I'm gonna bring in Keisha's Open Sea gallery because he said that our conversation that it just inspired one of his paintings that he was doing as we were talking.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but yeah, drop that thing before I'll bring up his Open Sea. So drop it. Just stop
Yeah.
beating around the bush. Just
So
give it
let's
to us
just
raw.
so based on my experience, like I said, when I had my son, and I'll be honest, because I don't want you to have bits and pieces and not understand all that I'm saying. My son transitioned in 2007 on August 3rd. It was an accident. And what they did to him when I saw him in the hospital blew my fucking mind. When you see a child laid out and all they're doing is preserving the organs with medicine so that they can be cut out of his body to save other people's lives that are have either access to insurance, money, or something else. So this is how I think of anything related to big pharma, the medical industry, anything like that. So when I see people needing one pill and then going on another one because that pill caused damage, it's a cipher of money, it's a cipher of life. They're taking control of your body. They're controlling you with their propaganda and their fear mongering. Why don't they tell us to eat good food? Why don't they
Yeah.
tell why don't they explain to us how much they've polluted our waters through their factories and that now children are growing breasts and getting cancer? And this is what the medicine is doing, what they call medicine. It's nothing but toxins.
You know
And I,
what though? That's actually. I mean, I will. Yo, kids in the U.S. I mean, even here, but like in the U.S. You see them little boys, little girls, all grown up, and she's like, dude, the kid is 13 years old. He looks like a freaking grown man with beard, and I'm like, how old is this boy?
13-year-old girls,
13 year.
12 and 13. When I look at my daughters, they look like me when I was their age. And we didn't eat that great, but my mother made sure we had vegetables in our diet. We were, we grew up impoverished. according to U.S.
Mhm.
standards. I know it's not, other
No,
countries, but
but come on,
no, but
let's
like when, excuse me,
yeah,
but
but it's
when,
come on,
but
but
when
it's
you
the truth.
grow up
Like
in,
when you yeah, poverty is poverty, no matter what
yeah,
it
when you
is.
have to split like a little pizza between
Yeah,
four
yeah,
people
yeah,
for
yeah, come
dinner,
on.
like, come on,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, poverty is poverty. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just talking to
Oh,
my
and by
cousin.
saying that, I might be canceled because oh my god, you cannot compare the poverty in America with the one
No,
in
it's
Africa.
just
Also.
different levels of it because there's no
Yeah, it's
reason,
poverty, and
there's no
somebody that
reason
does
why,
nothing to come on.
yeah, there's no reason why it shouldn't exist anywhere. But when a child is hungry, a child is hungry.
Here you go. That's enough.
So, and it's like in me, I always say if I travel to these other countries and I see these children, I'll be broke. I haven't even been able to travel where I want to because I don't have enough money to give. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So I know that I have privilege being here, but with privilege there comes other battles.
True.
So like you were saying, these children in Senegal, they're learning how to fend for themselves at an early age. We didn't get taught that. We depend on a system. So
Hmm.
then what happens to us when the system goes to shit? They know how to farm, they know how to slaughter animals, they know how to do all these things and operate in that in their environment. And anybody that's dependent on the US and all that they have to offer and all, oh, if you take this drug, if you take this experimental vaccine like they were doing years ago when I was a child, oh, aid to Africa. Why? This. And then they give them these shots and then they're sterile or the children are dying or some other stuff, and I'm just like, my mind is blown. Like, why is this happening? Why don't we know about this? We're so enclosed, or it's a closed capsule system over here. All we see is, just Africa is poverty, China is this, in Australia and South America is that. I have property in South America. It's nothing like they say here. So yeah, when you grow up in an environment where you're poor and you're dealing with all this stuff and you can't have access to clean drinking water, still like in Flint, Michigan, or children running through the system because they were taken from their mothers because somebody called child protective services because they didn't like what they were doing, and then these children are trafficked through the system and sexually abused and all this other stuff, and then they have to make sure that they take these medicines because they're in the government system. Like, it's crazy. It's all about money.
It is.
It's not true health. It's not true health. It's not true wealth. It's not. And if we really need it, it's not accessible to everybody. So, and there's a lot of people on medication here.
Yeah, but that's what the system in America seems to be on anyway.
Yeah. Oh,
Medication for this, medication for that. Like people, like so, like just in the past 2 3 days, I'm hearing like in America they're very good at giving you names for diseases that you never heard of in your entire existence. Like they're gonna create new like a little skin rash is skin rash papale propoliash whatever. It's like
or the new
I
insects, or the new insects. It's like, come on, man, all this new shit. I
this
grew
new
up
this
I grew
new
up in
that.
the 80s, man. We didn't You went outside, you didn't have a bike helmet. You got hit by a car, you rolled your ass home. Payphone, be here when the lights come on. Go shower, go brush your teeth. We're watching a little bit of TV. You don't get to watch TV on a weekend. Look at that. Wow.
Papa Keisha Mukulukuku. That's right. This is yeah. This is Keisha's art, man. Keisha is amazing at these paintings, and that's you actually. Look,
Look at my eye. He got my eye.
it's amazing.
He got my
Healer waves.
Wow. Does Keisha know I have a lazy eye?
I don't know if he knows. Probably so. I don't know.
Oh
Energy
man.
gone.
Oh my goodness.
Papa Keisha Mukulukuku premier. Well, for
Keisha.
those of you who are NFT collectors, make sure you go to Keisha's uh, profile on OpenSea.
That's an album cover.
Yeah, straight up.
Oh my
And
god.
go to the Naked Kings collection. Look at his whole. This collection is amazing. Like K's artwork is.
Naked Kings.
It's amazing what he's doing. He's been
Oh my
doing.
goodness.
You know.
Oh man. How's what?
Yeah, man. That's K shot for you.
Oh man, okay. I had no idea.
Hmm. No, this is started an amazing collection here. Amazing.
It definitely has its airs of Basquiat, but you can oh I like
Yeah,
yeah. No, but it's it's different.
he did one for me as well.
Yeah, even yeah, man.
Look at
Wow.
this one.
I'm sorry, we got artist.
That's the cover for my album. As a matter of fact, I was actually I didn't say that to Kay, but I was like, because I have a good friend of mine who's supposed to do the cover for my album, and for reasons beyond his control, he's not able to deliver it just yet.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking, I might be like, yeah, okay, we might have to use this as the cover art for my album, man, because
That makes
next
sense.
level. That's some next level
That
shit,
makes
man.
sense with the name. That makes sense.
It makes and it has all the mystery and the mystique and the spiritedness.
You know what that looks like? It looks like you're coming out of out of like you're being reborn or something because all the colors
100%.
are around it and like you're
100%.
crowned in this new essence.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And
Amen
that's
to
my
that.
interpretation. There's so many that people are going
Yeah,
back.
yeah, but I'm vibing with that though. You know,
Man. Sorry, Keisha. I mean, we're all up on it. Oh, that's so beautiful. I have to show my daughter. She's an artist. Marilyn draws
fantastic.
now. She
You
draws.
should get it to create a like an OpenSea account with a MetaMask. Create have a get a wallet via MetaMask, and then create your account with OpenSea and start selling the stuff.
Jesus.
So that's the Naked Kings collection by Keisha.
I'm gonna talk to Keisha. I need that
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hit him
I
up.
need print. I need a print, man. Or I mean
Oh
I
yeah, sure. I'm sure you can talk with him and see what's up. But he's done many more. Huh? These are just some of the arts that he's done. Like he's done
yeah.
these are the Naked Kings is a rather recent collection that he started, which I really really love. But there's these ones that he created the
Oh,
these ones. Very Basquiat like. This one is really, really dope as well. King of Heartbreaks, you know. So these are other artists on the NFTs
yeah,
platform.
it's pop. It's like pop art. It's really
He acquired those as well.
wow.
So these are really, really like them. This is super dope.
I like that one. Yeah. Look, we're looking at art. Art.
Yo, this is gallery, man. This is like this is the future, and I
Yeah.
love this because I mean, who has the
Oh,
money or
MF
the
Doom.
capacity?
Yeah.
MF Doom, Grace
Yeah.
Jones. I mean, come on, man.
No, I'm a Grace Jones fanatic, man.
This is one of my brother. Yeah, that's Opake shot
Oh, kudos.
direct.
Oh, look at the Minecraft guy. Or it looks like my daughter would love that too.
Yeah, man.
You know, Minecraft teaches children about the elements and how
Oh
to survive.
yeah.
You'd be amazed at some of these video games that these children have. Some of them are really good for assisting children in understanding how nature works.
Hmm.
So,
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
hmm yeah. All right.
Nikki, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing this dope knowledge of yours, these visions, and this short healing session that you provided via these
Oh man, you
balls and the
motivate me to want
cards.
to do more. I want to do more.
Can you send us off with a little bit of a
No, I can't because
oh,
I
shit.
told you what we talked about, right?
Okay, well, come on.
I
You
got
got us hooked now. It's like, come on now.
let me finish you off with some bowl right quick.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Finish us off. Finish us off.
Finish us off. Damn. It was about to get vulgar. Sorry.
He was about to get. Come on, girl. Come on. You
Get
can.
vulgar, man.
That's my show, man. We can. You can talk all that shit. So good.
Yes. But yeah, thank you for everybody that participated, that listened, that donated. Thank you, Keisha, for sharing that art. That's so beautiful, and all the comments from the sisters in here. It's nice to know that in this world community that there are like minds. Like we're really not as alone as we think we are,
Mm,
and there's help out there. So seek your comrades. And when I say
amen.
comrades, comrades, not just anybody. Everybody won't understand you. The spirit, the fire of soul is being awakened right now. There's the planets are moving, the clouds are changing, the weather's changing, everything is changing. So it's just stay the course. I wouldn't even say stay in the eye of the storm. I would say be the storm of change for yourself and then motivate others to do that. And it's you'll never learn everything in a day. Just keep going, keep reading, get books, print stuff off because they keep censoring stuff, and as we keep evolving as these natural beings on this planet, we'll understand why we need this access. We need paper, we need stuff to read. We don't need to depend on a computer. um, and share the information as much as you can and find your truth and walk in it.
Amen.
Oh, I don't know who that is, but thank you. I can't read. I'm
This
blind.
this is this is the impressive book, also known
Impressive book.
as Dr. Dan Regisford.
Oh, is she the one that assisted you?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
indeed.
okay. Yeah. Thank
Yes,
you for
indeed.
helping the brother, because man,
Yeah, definitely. so, so what's up? We've been waiting for that finish up, man. Come on,
okay.
that's you keeping us hanging like that. It's like, come on, what you gonna do about this?
I'm about to share some bowls. So I'm going to play. I'm going to Oh, and also if you didn't notice, there's a giant pyramid.
Yes, you know what? The impressive book was asking about that. Like, what's up with that pyramid? Like, explain to us what's the
Yeah.
meaning. I mean, I know what it is, but for those who don't.
Yeah, so everybody says the pyramid is an energy accumulator.
Hmm.
Um, and it's made of copper, and I polished it, and excuse me, I just burped.
It's okay.
I polished it and I put a Super 7 crystal in here. It's a culmination of many crystals, so it's extremely
Hmm.
powerful.
Hmm.
And then I have other crystals that I work with that I put in all the corners. The capstone is made of solid copper. Um, and what it does is it enhances the work, it enhances the healing. And the studies that have been done with pyramids have produced tremendous results for people that have disease like cancer, lupus,
Hmm.
different ailments of the body, inflammation, things of that nature. The metals that are in our body are also outside of us, so they support us. Because copper is also a supplement, magnesium, iron, alchemy. So it's an aspect of healing, alchemy within healing.
Hmm.
So the pyramid empowers all the work that I do. It makes it tenfold stronger. So
Hmm.
when I have somebody on the massage table and there's energy already starting to flow, as soon as I can't really explain what it does because we know what the pyramids in Kemet do, and there's pyramids all over the planet, but the ones in Kemet specifically are made with smooth sides.
Hmm.
And from what has been studied, they're energy generators. But when
Hmm.
people get in here and they lay on the table in the pyramid with the Super 7 pointing at their navel, they go. It's as if it assists people in collecting bits of their soul that were lost from trauma.
Hmm.
So that's how I utilize it. It magnifies the healing.
Hmm.
And in essence, that's really what the pyramid does. It magnifies the healing experience. So it is a tremendous ally to work with because it enhances meditation, it enhances healing, it helps you sleep. It's in my space, and actually, this space is my room. So I sleep in the pyramid or by the pyramid every night. My sleep has gotten better. Um, I wake up more energized. My food actually in the pyramid, it doesn't go bad, tastes better.
Interesting.
In the room, my flowers stay alive longer. My water doesn't get cloudy on my altar as quickly. So it's the energy that it produces is very healing and purifying. And what I've also noticed is that I'm not aging so fast. Like I feel
Powerful.
I don't feel myself aging as quickly as I would have without it because I felt it coming by doing work. But as I'm doing my healing work, it's support. Just like the bowls and the crystals are support, the gong is support. This is another aspect of support. So if you're doing healing work, or if you want to heal yourself, or have aspects of healing in your space, a pyramid would be great. I had to cut the copper and build it myself, but I had the capstone and I had the cornerstones that I ordered online. So it's extremely powerful. And they have aluminum, they have brass, and they have copper.
And there are even ones that you put underneath your bed
Oh
to
yeah.
help enhance, even the sexual energy or the sleeping, like it's very powerful.
Yeah. And if you take a pyramid or a triangle and you put it upside down, it's people call it the Star of David. I call it the Merkaba. It's the light vessel vehicle. So it's a vehicle that assists. So just this is one aspect of the vehicle. So imagine if one was laid inside of the other and it created a star. So I've seen some healers do that where they'd have a giant bowl and they'd sit somebody in that pyramid, that structure, the six-sided pyramid. The stuff that I've witnessed with it is amazing. And people in India, people in Russia, the Russians are building pyramids. So people understand the power of these pyramids. Um, Here in America, we have in Mexico we have the Mayan step pyramids. Everything has a purpose. These steps have a purpose. It's the it's the notion that you're rising and you're elevating in consciousness, and the priest did the work at the top along with royalty. So it's all these aspects of pyramids all over the world. Whereas here in the U.S. we have mounds. In South Africa, they have mounds and stupas. In Arizona, we have stupas, so we don't have pyramids anymore. But there's aspects of pyramids that we're finding that are just humped over like mounds. So it's very deep. It's very deep. It's deep, deep healing. So
Absolutely.
let's and keep going on.
It's good.
But yes. So let me
Like,
play.
gotta let that energy flow.
So let me play these bowls. Um, I'm trying. I'm trying. It's like it's funny.
Don't let them get blue.
Shut up. All right. Let me get it together. Okay. I'm trying. I'm trying. Look at it's getting dark
It's
here.
good.
Hold
It's
on.
energy. It's energy. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Powerful, man.
Man, yeah. Yeah.
Nicki Monty, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Family, thank you for watching. This was Quarantine Grooves. This was Monday Quality Talks number 35. It's not Quarantine Grooves. Quarantine Grooves is on Fridays. And this was the 35th episode of MQT Monday Quality Talks. And to my Bodhis and my Shadow gang, thank you, Papa Keisha. Thank you so much for the beautiful donation and also for sharing with us the inspiration that you gathered from today's conversation. You should actually invite Nikki on the show, man. Get the Shadow gang introduced to Nikki's work, because I think, you should. I don't know if that's their vibe, but it might be something that touches them. And also thank you, Master Electronic, for your donation as well, and for the great questions and insights that you added. Mama Dadia, beloved Kindred, the impressive Oak. The one I'm missing, Eliana, thank you very much for tuning in. Yeah, man, for TMC Music, I think that was somebody that just came in and didn't stay long, probably stayed but didn't comment more. But anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in and for watching the show. It was a pleasure, and I shall see you next Friday for. Actually, I don't think I'm going to see you next Friday because I'm going to be in the south of France. So it might be very unlikely that I'll be delivering the show as I'm leaving on Wednesday. But we'll see what wonders I can make happen. Maybe I might be able to do a live session from there. But anyway, with that being said, Nikki, thank you so much, sister. Thank you very much for this. This talk today was really, really dope. Like the first one we had was dope, but today was just like next level dope. Like next level dope.
We had it together today.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Have a beautiful week, family. See you next Monday.